The tuition surcharge will cover about 9% of the budget decrease.
Hi, I'm Kif Richmond, and this is Lily. When it's completed, the prairie restoration should look something like this: the grasslands at the Indian Creek Nature Reserve outside of Cedar Rapids. I'm here at the University of Iowa on a gloomy day where about 2 out of 3 students say they have seen an effect from the dwindling economy. Nick loves to teach, but he admits his true passion is in competition. Black belt Nick Messersmith has been practicing Taekwondo since he was 5. He studied under a grandmaster and trained in Korea, the homeland of Taekwondo. He's won local and national competitions, but one of his greatest challenges comes from passing on his knowledge to kids, sometimes as young as 5 years old. He started teaching at Iowa in 2008, but he's been teaching youth classes since he was 16.
I'm 24 now, so that's 8 years I started teaching youth. Usually it's rewarding. There's some nights when you want to pull out your hair. Working with them is fun. You find out that teaching kids is a lot different than teaching adults. There's that old saying that, the student becomes the teacher. And with kids, I think that's more so than anything. You learn from the kids. You learn a lot different stuff from the kids than you would from adults.
Nick hopes that someday his students will go from this to this. Nick loves to teach, but he admits his true passion is in competition.
Don't get me wrong, I like teaching, and eventually I would like to teach, open up my own school someday, but I gotta compete, I've been doing this since I was 5. It's embedded into me right now, so I really, I'd have to go with competing.
He hopes to be competing and teaching for as long as possible.
Till I die, actually.
Kif Richmond, Daily Iowan TV. McBride State Park has been enjoyed by eastern Iowans for years. The wooded trails and camping areas have been a source of escape and even provided a bit of learning about nature and plant life. But about 5 years ago, park management and local residents started to notice a growing problem: an increasing deer population. A population that was starting to disrupt the beauty of the park.
We were starting to see some loss of the understory, we call it a browse line. It got to where you could stand on the road and look straight through the hillside and not see much of that understory because so much of it had been browsed away.
Management concluded that the best solution was to allow archery hunters to take deer from McBride.
The hunters here, they are required to walk in and walk out with their bows cased. They have to hunt from a stationary spot, either shooting downhill if they're in a ground blind, or they have to be elevated in a tree. They can only shoot downward. They have to be set up a certain number of yards away from occupied buildings.
The hunt is strictly archery only, no guns.
It's a pretty heavily used park. Even during the fall and the winter, we get a lot of walkers, we get a lot of fall users, we have fall campers, we have a couple campgrounds in the area. So shotguns or firearms were not considered.
Hunters are required to report all kills to park management. At the University of Iowa, I'm Kif Richmond. From freshmen to university presidents, everyone is expected to pitch in. And this morning at the University of Northern Iowa, all 3 presidents outlined their plans to meet the allowance. For the presidents, they asked to receive no extra pay based on their work.
Under these circumstances, I feel that it's best to simply and very respectfully decline the performance-based part of my salary for the current fiscal year.
And by any measure, it would not be appropriate for me to accept any kind of performance-based bonus.
But the presidents won't be the only people pitching in, as the Regents also gave first-round approval to a $100 spring semester tuition increase.
We're asking our students to make a one-time spring semester-only contribution of $100. That's the $100 surcharge.
The tuition surcharge will cover about 9% of the budget decrease, and while this proposal was for the spring semester only, university officials are not yet ready to completely rule out the chance of future surcharges.
Our proposal is only for the spring, so it would take specific action by Regents to extend it or to change it in any way other than what we proposed. Spring only, I gave them my word and I hope that we can keep true to that.
Kif Richmond, Daily Iowan TV.